Well, we're aware that you've got to get back to them as well. So what I just want to do is I just want to recap. I'm looking over to my other screen at the moment. I just want to recap on it was kind of 6 points, 6 takeaways, if you like, from our initial conversation that we had on Facebook. And obviously, like you said at the start, it was, you know, as a parent caddy, you are their number one teammate, and I think that kind of starts it all off. You also said that your role is to give positive encouragement on the journey to and from golf, and whilst walking the fairway, and your role is not to react. You know, the other point was that you should stand back and keep smiling no matter the result. If you smile and say forget it after a miss hit, you take the putter and, you know, you smile, you carry on walking after the missed putt. Your conversation should include how proud you are, how much you love your child. There should be lots of smiles and thumbs up throughout the experience. And ultimately, you are positively engaging your child to be to play. I'll start again. You're positively engaging your child to emotionally play the game on their own, to be self-sufficient. Just to touch on that one quickly, what you said was, you know, 7, 8, they need that parent caddy, kind of 9 plus. They are hopefully a little bit more self-sufficient. You know, they know what they're doing. What would you expect at that age, where their parent caddy is backing off and they're playing on their own? You know, what's their expectation? Ultimately, that's where we want to get them to. So
yeah. Do you mean for the child there, or for the caddy parent?
For the child first. Well, for both, yeah, but for the child first. I mean, what's the aim there?
Yeah. So, you know, from 9 years and up here, or for US Kids events, they do say that they can be out there without a caddy. And I see some that's out there without a caddy. And the ones I see there are out there without a caddy are the ones who are emotionally stable out there. They're the ones who can carry themselves on the golf course, and they can select their own clubs, they can step off their own yardages, they can hit good shots and bad shots and accept both. The ones I see that are out there without the caddies, or sorry, with their caddies, it doesn't mean that they're emotionally unstable or anything. What I would say is maybe they just aren't quite yet ready to have the parent off the bag for yardage reasons, for club selection reasons, for strength reasons, for physical reasons. So, you know, the expectation, it can't only, while it's a major part of it, the emotional side of it, and being able to mentally be out there by yourself, it's not the only factor either. You know, if your kid can't physically play 9 holes pushing their own push cart, you need to be out there pushing the push cart. But that's all you're out there for. If that's literally the only bit he needs help with, you push the bag and you be quiet. That's it.
Yeah.
If your kid's out there, if you're out there with your kid and the reason you're out there is for yardage reasons, to step off yardages because they maybe struggle with that, maybe they struggle with club selection, but they have no problem pushing their own bag and there's no problem with their mental game, then let them push their bag. You walk the fairway beside them. Let them, you know, do everything mental game wise. Let them take care of that themselves, and then you can help guide them through the club selection process, the yardage process, or the green reading process, whatever it might be. So, you know, don't let yourself be a crutch for your kid always. You're all, you know, as they check off things that they're capable of doing by themselves, then let them do that when they're out there. Like I often see here the caddies, they let the kids read the greens themselves. Like they're learning that from a very, very young age now. So when the caddy gets to the green, they don't even step up there anymore. They might go in and take the flag out and walk off to the side, but you'll see the dad standing, or the parents standing off to the side, the caddies, and the kids are all up there reading the greens and putting themselves. Whereas that kid may need the dad or mom to be there just to push the bag because physically they can't get around the golf course. So what I'm saying there is, you know, figure out what your kid needs from a caddy. Do not be a crutch for them. You're always trying to help them learn and grow. And when they get to that stage, you know, you're trying to check off some boxes and go, okay, Johnny, you're well able to do this yourself, so you're going to make all your club selections today. Even if you hear them make the wrong choice, let them choose it, let them make the mistake, and then have a teachable moment afterwards. Because that's the stuff that they'll remember. Like they take ownership of that, and they'll remember a lot more, and they'll learn a lot more if we kind of let them do that as well. And then gradually transition yourself off of the bag completely. And by the time then they're 12, 13, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, we're down here at World. It's hot. It's the middle of the summer. These are hilly golf courses. A lot of these, you know, the kids, they're teenagers. A lot of them do have their caddies out there, but it's simply someone to push the bag or carry the bag. That's all it is. These kids at this stage they're making 95% of all selections themselves. They're, you know, talking to themselves after a miss hit or a good shot. They're taking care of that themselves. And we should be starting that process from the age of 9, I think, and kind of, you know, getting your kids used to all the little bits along the way and doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Whether, you know, and even at a young age, I find too, like with that 7, 8, 9-year-old, is things like simple stuff, teeing up the golf ball themselves. Like, make sure that they can do that by the time, you know, I'll still see sometimes a 10-year-old out there and the caddy's still teeing up the golf ball at that stage. That was totally fine at 5, 6, 7, even 8, if there's a stability issue, if there's, you know, if the kid just can't do it. By the time we get that kid to 10 years of age, he's got to be able to tee up a golf ball by himself.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like things and jobs that we have to do as a parent caddy, and we have to just make sure, you know, as part of our job, that the kid is able to do all these things themselves when
Lost you for a second there, Laura. 1 second.
you're not out there.
Oh, Laura, sorry about that. We lost you in about the last 10, 15 seconds. It sounded like you were wrapping up a really nice point as well. Sorry. Sorry to burden you. Could you just give us that last point?
I was on another rant, is it?
Yeah. No. It was just after when you were talking about the kid being able to tee the ball up, and we sort of lost the signal a bit.
Yeah, no, I think what I was just saying there was, you know, there's so many things that we have to teach them as a parent caddy and a coach. And we cannot take the small things for granted.
Yeah.
So we need to, even if it's something as simple as marking a golf ball, teeing up the golf ball, repairing a divot, raking a bunker, like we've got to teach them all those things. And as you're going along and you realize now your kid's 8 and you know what, he can mark the golf ball himself and tee it himself, and he can repair his divots himself. Let him do those 3 things every single time by himself. And then you're continue to transition all the way through until they're capable of been out there themselves all the time. Because if us as the caddy, if we constantly always do those things for them, by the time they're 13, 14, and they're not allowed to have a caddy anymore, and they're going into play, whether it's high school golf or secondary school golf or whatever it might be, interprovincial golf, and now we're not out there anymore, how can they carry themselves in the golf course? They're going to be so worried about how they tee up their golf ball and mark the golf ball, they're not going to be able to play the game.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, obviously, what you said. And what we found is Isaac's obviously just turned 8, and kind of off the golf course, I'm still of the mindset, I'll just do it for him because it's easier. This is at home, you know, it could be doing while we're out and about. It's just easier, I'll just help him, I'll just do it for him. And Paul keeps saying to me, no, he's 8 now, he's got to learn to do it himself, he can do it himself. So I don't think it just applies to the golf course. You know, sometimes as a parent, you do kind of jump in and do just because it's easier, it's quicker, you know that it'll be done right. But it's important that, you know, with all things, being a parent caddy, you do kind of let off, you see what they can do, and you allow them to kind of move forward and experience those things themselves as well. So
it's the same in our house. I'm the same. I'm always saying, no, they need to learn it themselves, whatever it might be. And my husband's a little bit more he says the same thing. Well, it's easier if we just do it, but it's very like being a parent caddy, or, you know, just even a parent spectator or a parent teammate. It's just like life. I mean, whether your kids doing their homework or whatever else, I know it's easy to get frustrated, and, you know, I'm by no means a perfect parent. I've gotten frustrated many, many, many times myself, but it's about managing that frustration and understand when you've made the mistake, and tell them you've made the mistake and own up to that. Say, hey, listen, buddy, I got really annoyed there earlier on. I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. And it goes for every part of life, like whether it's them learning to do something new, whether it's school homework, whether it's the chores they were supposed to be doing around the house, whether it's on the golf course. I mean, they're not doing, you know, within reason, they're not doing anything intentionally to do things incorrectly or wrong. Within reason, I'll say. We can have a bit of that. But it's just like life lessons.
I can think back to Sunday where I took Isaac and met some new friends that we've got to know through Instagram. We played a 9-hole there where Isaac will be playing in the Tommy Fleetwood tour in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I completely misclubbed, and he went straight over the green into the water, and it was on me, totally on me. He's turned around as if to say, "What happened there, Dad?" And I've put my hands up and said that, you know, but at least we've done it before the competition. I know exactly what club to give him next time.
Yeah, you do. You won't do that again.
And we did have a bit of a laugh and a joke of it, but I think that generally, especially with the way the holes are laid out, it's either a 3-wood or a driver. But this one was a particularly tricky one. It was short. I didn't know whether it was short or it was long. I've given him a 7-iron, and he's just flown it right over. Um,
I'm sure as you saw it failing, you were going, oh no.
oh, as soon as he hit it, you just knew it was a
The fact that
certain.
he turned round to you, though, you know, it was kind of like,
He
no,
knew.
this is definitely on you.
But
Yeah.
I think the thing is, what was interesting is that he was able to laugh that off, and I think that's again, I feel like I'm still developing that relationship with him on the course as a caddy because it is,
Yeah.
you know, it is a very unique environment in that
Yeah.
respect. But I think essentially, just to sort of summarize what a lot of amazing points that you've made is that it's essentially finding that balance between the supporting arm, but also trying to gear them towards independent playing and self-sufficiency.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, golf is a lonely sport. You're out there by yourself, and
Yeah.
you know, you only have a caddy, you know, for a very. There's two times in your life you have a caddy. You have a caddy as a junior golfer when you're first learning the game, and then you have a caddy when you're an absolute expert yourself. So what happens in between? Like, you're either a professional tour player making millions,
Yeah.
and now you give me a caddy. Now you give me somebody to help me. Or when I first just started playing the game. So especially if we're on that end where you're first starting playing the game, like, think of how important your role is to guide them to whether it's playing that provincial golf, high school golf, college golf. Like, they're on their own all the way through that.
Yeah.
And they have to be able to do it. And that's part of your role as a coach or your role as a parent is to help guide them through that. So being the right parent caddy, it's extremely important. I mean, it's being that support system for them. It is the most important role in your child's golfing journey. As the parent, you are the one that's going to decide where this goes or where it doesn't go if it comes to that.